Hi everybody, my name is Erin, and I am making another video just to continue this channel. I haven't posted in a long time. A lot of stuff's been going on, back to school and everything. I'm a little bit sick right now, so uh, yeah. But today I wanted to talk about my opinion on fat acceptance. And I really I don't like it. I don't see how people think it is acceptable or okay in any way. I myself am classified as obese, and um, I don't think that people should be saying it's okay to be this weight or higher weight or over a healthy weight. Um, I don't think it's okay that people say that they get treated differently or that there's thin privilege, because I don't really see that. I have a sister who is older than me, and she is even bigger than me, and I have a younger sister who is only younger by a couple of months, and in American size, she's a size 00 to a size 1, and I don't feel like we get treated any differently because of our sizes. And people have brought up a lot of points about fat tax, that they have to pay more for their clothing, um, and that's unfair. And I don't see that as unfair, because you're paying for more material that has to go into buying your clothing or into making your clothing. So I don't feel it's unfair because they just have to use more material. Um, I don't think that it's unfair that you have to buy an extra plane ticket or a bus ticket if you ride the bus. That those things aren't made to fit you or someone of a larger size. Um, I think, sorry, I'm like stumbling on my words. I think that it's definitely reasonable. I feel like somebody shouldn't have to be uncomfortable because of what is technically a choice. I feel like you choose to be overweight, and like some people do have medical problems such as thyroidism, and I think it's called Willie-Perkins syndrome. It's a feeling where you can't get full, and other disorders like that. But for the most part, I feel like it's just your own your own self, your own choice. For me, and it's kind of changing now because a lot of children from when they're babies are growing up overweight. So that's a little bit different, but still in this fact that when you're old enough to understand food, then that should, you can make your own choices from that point, so you don't have to continue to eat the way that somebody else is raising you has to eat. And you don't have to stay that way forever. I'm currently losing weight, and it's not because of that I don't like myself or that I think that fat people aren't attractive. I think it's because, it's really what's best for you and best for me. I have another thing is with the fat acceptance, people are thinking that it's okay to be overweight when it's not healthy, and it really isn't. You can't be perfectly healthy and still be overweight. Even though I don't have a lot of medical problems, um, I have the most medical problems I have are contributed to weight, and not eating properly and not exercising properly. And I don't think it's okay to hinder somebody into further self-destruction by telling them it's okay to be that weight, or it's okay to not treat yourself right. I don't think it's fair that they also, like I said before, that there's like thin privilege, because even though my sister, who is so tiny, uh, we go shopping all the time together, and there's tons of times where she tries stuff on that doesn't fit and it's her size, or and there's like, she's also very small, so she, like, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit her, and it's just like, I feel like that's with everybody at every weight. I don't think that's just a big person problem. um I don't think that it's acceptable to continue to, I probably went over this, but just continue to um let people keep hurting themselves, even though it's not physical as like self-injury. It's gonna hurt them in the long run. And I don't think it's just like, it's really hard to like grasp. And people might say like, oh, you just don't love yourself enough. I love myself plenty, but I feel like it is extremely hard for me to sit by and watch somebody, even if it's in my real life or if it's just on the internet or anything, slowly hurting themselves and probably to the point of death. And that's very sad. Um, I'm overweight partially because of how I grew up. My family did not choose the best foods, and I grew up in a lot of rural neighborhoods where there wasn't really much to do. Um, and like, I'm older now, and so I have that choice, and I am making that choice to better myself. I don't have to continue to live that way. And I feel like if anybody else, gets help out of this, or feels like they can like better themselves, like, I think everyone can be better in some way. And I think that by hindering somebody, like if somebody was doing a more physical self-harm, people would like rush towards them, like with support and telling them to stop, and being very straightforward that it's gonna hurt them. um but when people see it, like, don't see it in such a way, um or if somebody sees somebody doing a bad habit like smoking and other things, um I feel like they'll be more in turn to tell them not to do that. But eating poorly and not exercising is just the same, um like, kind of bad habits. I also feel like really, really um frizzled, like, not happy when I see people like doing the fat acceptance, but also being like, I'm perfectly healthy. There is no way you can be perfectly healthy and be overweight. If it's not something that you can notice right away, it doesn't mean that it's not there. And just because you just because you went to a doctor years ago and you were fine, doesn't mean that you are still fine. I know a lot of people who are like, oh, well, the doctor says I'm healthy, And it's like, oh, well, when's the last time you went? 5 years ago? You're probably a lot better. And, like, even though I'm not terribly overweight, I am overweight. Uh, I'm a couple points into, on the BMI scale, I'm a couple points into the obese category. Um, but even with that, I still have a lot of things like back pain. I still have IBS. I still have like, you know, trouble breathing and like doing strenuous stuff, and um, and even though it's gotten better, I used to be 270 and now I'm 230, and I'm still working on that. Um, it used to be so bad, and I think that, like, if I think back to how I was almost 300 pounds, and I think about it, and like literally, like just walking would like make me unable to breathe. Sorry, I'm sick. But like in that, I had to take an inhaler every day, twice a day, and those were like inhaled steroids that would build my lungs when they really didn't need to be built. Like I just needed to lose the weight so they weren't compressing on it. But um and then I'd have to take an emergency inhaler. I'd have to take all kinds of medicines that I really didn't need because of just diet change would have helped. And I feel really bad because I see people who are even younger than me participating in this like fat acceptance, and seeing like people who are like, I think it's called foodies, and they get paid to eat large sums of food and just become fat. And I don't understand how that could be a life that somebody would want to live. Um, I think anybody can make a change, and I think a fat acceptance is just a border or a kind of excuse to put in front of people so they don't have to change. And I know like some people would be really offended, but I don't really understand why, because it's not like it's out of your control. When I hear people say like being fat is a disease or being fat is a disorder, like I I can't really grasp that because everybody has control of their weight, whether you want to lose weight or gain weight. And I feel like, you know, you don't have control of diseases and stuff like that. Like some diseases are caused by overweight, but being overweight, but I don't think that just being overweight is a disorder unless it is caused by something medical. But um I really, just to sum it all up again, I don't like the fat acceptance movement. I don't think I ever will. I can't stand behind somebody or people or an organization or group, whatever you want to call them, that would let people continue to harm themselves, to continue to make their health worse, continue their ignorance and excuses on why they can't um, be thin and stuff like that. Um, I I can't understand that, and I won't support people who do that. And mm, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap this up by saying, live your best life, be who you want to be. You don't have to listen to me, but I would really appreciate it And this is like a big rant, and I'm sorry that it took so long. Bye!